I was in the middle of a client meeting when the lobby doors burst open. Standing there was Karen Miller, our neighborhood HOA president and the office manager for this building. Her face was flushed with vengeful delight. She stormed across the marble floor, pointing a manicured finger directly at me. "You're fired. Effective immediately." Karen announced loudly, her voice echoing throughout the lobby. "Pack your things and get out of my building within the hour." My clients shifted uncomfortably, but I managed to meet her gaze without flinching. I simply nodded and said, "I think there's been a misunderstanding, Karen." Karen wasn't just my HOA president, she ran the workplace, micromanaging everything from the break room temperature to the parking spaces. I had watched talented colleagues quit rather than deal with her petty tyranny. Just last week, she'd hissed that I had no ambition, no vision, and would be stuck in that tiny office forever. What Karen didn't know was that my situation had changed dramatically. 2 months ago, I received an inheritance, and I decided to invest it in real estate. When I discovered the very building where I worked was up for sale, I formed a holding company and made an offer. I had kept the entire deal confidential, continuing to work as usual while the closing was finalized. Now, standing in the lobby with Karen demanding I leave, I gathered my clients' paperwork. I apologized for the interruption, quietly rescheduling them for the next morning. Karen leaned in, dropping her voice to a venomous whisper. "People like you are just stepping stones for people like me." I nodded, maintaining my professional demeanor, and walked toward the exit. I pulled out my phone and deliberately called my lawyer within earshot.
James.
Yes, everything went through. The building is officially mine as of 9 a.m. this morning. Could you please have the new management notices prepared for tomorrow? I glanced back. Karen was frozen in place, her mouth slightly open as the implications of my conversation dawned on her. Without another word, I walked out the door. The next morning, I arrived early with the property management team. We posted notices throughout the building. Smith Properties is the new owner of Oakwood Professional Center. At precisely 9 a.m., I watched from the security monitors as Karen approached the main entrance and swiped her access card. The light remained red. She tried again, then began pounding on the glass doors. When the new property manager, David, finally let her in to explain the situation, Karen stormed straight for her office, only to find the locks had been changed. A small crowd of employees gathered in the lobby, watching the scene unfold. "Where is he?" Karen demanded, spinning around to face the crowd. "Where is that nobody who thinks he can play games with me?" I stepped forward from my position near the elevator. "Good morning, Karen." I believe David was explaining the change in management. "You," she laughed, a strangled gasp. "This is some kind of sick joke. You can't afford to buy this building." "Actually, Smith Properties is my holding company," I replied calmly. "I purchased the building last week, and the transfer of ownership became official yesterday morning, about an hour before you attempted to fire me." The color drained from Karen's face. "As the new owner," I continued, "I've hired a professional management company. Your position has been eliminated. Effective immediately." Karen's shock quickly gave way to rage. "I'll sue you for wrongful termination." "You're welcome to speak with my attorneys," I said, handing her a business card. "But you should know that I have extensive documentation of your management practices, including testimony from employees about workplace harassment." That's when she completely lost control. She grabbed a potted plant and hurled it across the lobby. She shoved the reception computer off the desk, sending it crashing to the floor. "You think you're so clever?" she shrieked. "Well, I'm still the HOA president. I'll make your life a living nightmare." Security quickly arrived, but when they attempted to escort Karen out, she slapped one of the guards across the face. David had no choice but to call 911. 2 police officers arrived. When Karen tried to shove past them toward me, screaming that she would destroy me, the officers restrained her. Despite her struggles, she was handcuffed and arrested for disorderly conduct, destruction of property, assault, and trespassing. The following week, Karen appeared in court and was ordered to pay $7,000 in damages and received a restraining order preventing her from contacting any building employees. But the final blow came from the HOA board itself. With footage of Karen's arrest circulating among residents, the board voted unanimously to remove her as president. When informed of the decision, Karen Miller, the woman who had wielded absolute authority in her office and her neighborhood, collapsed into her chair, her last vestige of power stripped away. For the first time since I'd known her, Karen was completely speechless.